Hi, everyone. Welcome to Mini Scroll, the daily internet culture podcast bringing you the biggest stories from social media, the creator economy, and the digital space every Monday through Thursday and sometimes Fridays. I'm your host, Lauren Meisner, the founder of the youth digital media brand, Centennial World. Welcome back to Mini Scroll, everyone. Okay, so I complained of a light news day on Tuesday. And we woke up yesterday morning to the news that Taylor Swift was engaged, which could not be bigger pop culture news if I tried. So we're just getting right into it. But before I do, please remember to rate, review, and subscribe. Please Spotify star rate us. It helps us so much. It helps us grow. Leave us an Apple review. Buy us a coffee if you feel so inclined. All of that good stuff. All right. So yes, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are engaged. The two announced it on Instagram with photos of Travis proposing in a secret fairy garden and the caption, "Your English teacher and your gym teacher are getting married." Okay, so this garden was definitely paying homage to the Lover Garden from that era. It looked so similar. The whole thing felt very Taylor Swift. Like the garden, the ring, even what she was wearing, it seemed very her. My theory is that these were staged photos. I think she looks way too chill in them for this to be like the real proposal. Like, from what we know, Taylor Swift is such a romantic, like, she's such a lover girl. Like, she wasn't crying, she wasn't even really smiling that much. I feel like this was the staged announcement photo shoot that she had a bit of a hand in, especially with like the garden situation, I feel. And maybe they got engaged, secretly, privately, like before this. Now, there are a lot of people criticizing the timing of this announcement. So, taking it back to when Taylor announced her new album, Life of a Showgirl, social media since she announced that, because that was basically her like coming back post Eras tour, right? So since she kind of came back, went on the podcast, announced the album, people have been criticizing her on social media for how she refuses to use her giant platform to speak up about Gaza or other social and political causes. And a huge part of this argument is when she released the Miss Americana documentary, in which she made it clear that she wants to be more politically and socially responsible with her platform. Right after that, she hasn't really done or said very much. So online right now, since she announced her album and kind of made her official like return post Eras tour, there's been so much criticism of Taylor online, including Swifties. Like, people are criticizing her a lot and saying she stands for nothing, and that's what it feels like. So the theory now is to drown out some of that criticism. They've announced their engagement. I honestly don't think the engagement announcement is in response to the backlash. I think like in the scheme of online backlash that Taylor Swift has received, this has not been as loud as I think it needs to be for her to like try and veer off course or like change the narrative. I think it's a lot more likely that this announcement was planned in the lead up to her album because she wants all of the press headlines in the next 6 weeks leading up to her album to be about her, to drum up buzz for the album as if she needs that. But I think that's part of the PR plan. But can I just say the fact that Taylor Swift is marrying a football player with a podcast is so like American ordinary. And I just feel like the Taylor Swift that I thought that I knew, not that I'm like super parasocial with her, but like, the Taylor Swift that I feel like I was being served up pre Travis Kelce era, I feel like she would be unwell hearing this. I don't know. What do you guys think? I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this. I thought that this was like a rebound for her. I'm just surprised. But also, they're both 35. If she wants to have kids soon, he obviously is very supportive of her and they do seem to love each other a lot. So, like, I'm not shitting on it. I'm just surprised, okay? Let me know what you guys think about that. Okay, the next story that I have for you guys, one of you guys on YouTube with the username Soggy Broccoli, which is so funny, mentioned this in the comment section of our episode on Tuesday. So I had to dive right in. I was like, let's go. We are going full down the rabbit hole on this one, and I'm so glad that I did. So we're going to be talking about this restaurant called Tallow in Philadelphia, how they've gone viral on Twitter for a failed attempt basically at like pity marketing. So this saga starts when Tallow restaurant owner Abe tweeted from his restaurant's account that his restaurant was struggling. He wrote, "For the last 7 months, I've been doing all I can to make this restaurant successful. Maybe our food isn't good, but we bring in around $50 to $125 per day. being open for 7 to 8 hours. He said he was $30,000 in debt and didn't know what to do. So initially, people felt sympathy for him, and his post went quite viral. But then users started looking into his business, his marketing. They started going to his restaurant to see it for themselves. And the sentiment turned within like literally 24 hours. His thread has been deleted because of kind of the backlash and conversation around him. But in the initial thread, he was sharing some of his business values, which people felt like initially were red flags because they were very Maha adjacent, like Make America Healthy Again, no seed oils, everything from scratch. And whether you are into that or not, people were also saying from like a marketing perspective, that doesn't really work in a city like Philadelphia. I don't know. I'm not American. I've never been to Philadelphia. But people were saying, okay, maybe this would work in like LA or, one of those kind of cities that are more like health conscious and into like expensive, healthy, organic food. But like Philly is not the place to open a restaurant like this. Then it was revealed that despite his restaurant being called Tallow, they actually don't serve any beef. They serve their fries, I guess, in beef tallow, like they cook them in beef tallow, but they only serve chicken tenders. And it turns out as well that the restaurant is also not really a restaurant. It's just like a stand, like a food counter, like a fast food counter, I guess, inside of a budget grocery store. Then the people who went to this restaurant were even more surprised when they arrived and they couldn't find it. And that's because the logo and branding, like the signage above the restaurant, above the counter, is from the old company, the old counter that used to serve food there. So it has like completely wrong branding. And when you actually go up to the counter, you can see like the Tallow logo and you can see their menu like underneath the awning of the old signage. So like he didn't even take off the old signage, okay? Plus the grocery store that Tallow is inside of, right? So Tallow is like a counter in this grocery store. That grocery store is inside of a plaza. And that plaza has 3 other chicken tender, like fast food chains that are apparently cheaper than Tallow. Other issues that people found was that the counter was only open from around 11 a.m. to 6 p.m.-ish. So like when it's peak dinner time, they're closing. So all of these issues, and there were others, there were like random things with his website. All of these issues were discovered by people on the internet. And they were brought up to the owner on Twitter as he's posting about the fact that he's like not doing well and that he can't figure it out why. And so then, plot twist, crypto comes into the picture, okay? Part of this thread, he was basically saying like, I'm trying to change the fast food industry with healthy ingredients. Like no one's appreciating what I'm doing. I'm doing what people want. Like I'm giving them healthy fast food options. That's what people always say they want. Why is it not working? Anyways, and then he's like, if you want to support me and help me out, and he puts a link and he says, donate Bitcoin to me here. What? It's so bizarre to start with, but Bitcoin also goes up and down in value. Like, I don't know, that is not a stable way to collect donations if people are trying to help you. Okay, so TikTok creator named Rinna, she did a breakdown of the situation on TikTok, and here is what she had to say about it. And I feel like it just encapsulates like the general sentiment of how people felt about this situation.
Overall, this is just a huge wake-up call and a huge spotlight on 2 huge problems with starting a business. The first is you cannot have the world's worst marketing ever, and then when that doesn't work, inevitably, switch up to pity marketing. Because the internet is full of detectives, and they will find your business, your strategies, your reviews, your location, and tell you all those things you're doing wrong before they just succumb to your sob story. Second, you cannot base your entire business model off of a politicized fad. Just because these buzzwords around fast foods like seed oils and processed foods and processed oils and beef tallow are a popular thing online does not translate to instant success in the real world.
It really is a cautionary tale in pity marketing. Like you better have all your ducks in a row before you take the internet and tell them that like something about your business or about your situation is unfair, because as you know, internet users, they will take that and they will poke as many holes in it as they can to prove that actually you're the one that's wrong. Anyways, despite this debacle though, Abe has been tweeting and posting that they're selling out. People are like going to this store now, obviously, to this counter, this beef tallow place that doesn't sell beef, to check it out. So it's definitely getting him some traction, even though he's getting a lot of hate. Okay, and the last story that I have for you guys, MrBeast has called out Rolling Stone magazine for putting Caleb Hearon ahead of him, comedian Caleb Hearon, ahead of him on the most influential creators list. So Rolling Stone has released its list of the 25 most influential creators of 2025, and MrBeast is not happy that he didn't make it higher on the list. He came in at number 7. In a really crazy tweet, after the list was released, he asked who he pissed off at the publication to have comedian Caleb Hearon, who has significantly less followers than him, come in ahead of him at number 6. So he tweeted a picture of Caleb, okay, like the card picture that they post in the article that says like Caleb Hearon number 6. He posted a screenshot of that and he wrote, according to this list, a guy with 1 million followers is more influential than me. What did I do to piss off the Rolling Stones? First of all, the Rolling Stones and Rolling Stone magazine are two different things, MrBeast, Jimmy. Okay, this is a huge mask slip moment for MrBeast because it proves everything that we have been saying on this podcast for years when it comes to him. All he cares about is power. Like, there is no creative or community building motivation behind his career. And like, in theory, that's fine. Like, I'm sure there's lots of creators, lots of influencers who are doing it for the money and the fame. They don't really care about like the creative outlet that content creation brings them or whatever it is. However, the difference with MrBeast is that he brands himself as this like altruistic change maker. And he's using this power to exploit others. He is using it to exploit people for content, for his content, so that he can make money. And then he has beast philanthropy that he's able to say like, but no, look, I give back. Yeah, okay, for content, so that you can be like, look at me, pat myself on the back, like I'm doing something good. He's rubbing elbows with all the billionaires and he's like just as exploitative in different ways. Getting the most followers and the most views does not translate to influence. MrBeast is not really that influential from an audience perspective, beyond the like millions of 6-year-olds that watch his videos passively while they're like playing video games or whatever. Like, that is who his target audience is. Like, that is literally who watches MrBeast videos. I've said this so many times on the podcast, but I am certain that if I polled my friends who are not chronically online, a ton of them would say they do not know who MrBeast is, despite him being one of the most followed creators on the entire internet. And that is because he is just straight up not that influential with audiences. He has been influential in terms of, I guess, the direction of youth content creation and like what was going viral on algorithms on YouTube and all of that. But like, from an audience perspective, he has not really built any connection with his audience. He hasn't made a real impact on anyone outside of these like isolated charitable things that he does, again, for content. He has no purpose outside of being the most viral. And virality is not influence. It is so wild to me that after all of these years, he still does not realize this. MrBeast wants power and he sees mass reach as his pathway to power, and that is it. And no offense, MrBeast, but why is a straight man trying to be an influencer? Go build a house or something, not for content. Don't film it for YouTube. Just go like do something else. Touch grass. Stop trying to be an influencer. Influencing is for the girls. The girls, the gays, and the theys. Leave us alone. Okay, that was a joke. Don't call me sexist. That was a joke. All right. Anyways, guys, that's it for Mini Scroll today. Thank you so much for listening. I love you guys. Please remember to rate, review, and subscribe. And I will talk to you tomorrow for a Friday Mini Scroll. Bye.